The second time I seen him was at his home in Las Vegas, Nevada. Everybody thinks he faked his death. He's not dead. There was many things that happened, and he got set up for a little bit to still be able to live his life and still be in the public eye. He's still making music.
Tupac got caught on TMZ in 2009 after he burnt his fingerprints off, and everybody seen him, right? The LAPD went out and covered that. Look it up on TMZ. Look it up. Go look it up yourself. Go look it up yourself. You think I'm scared of you? Let's go.
Jada, you're a bald-head liar and you're a addict, right?
Oh, God.
You told the world that you were going to sue me. As of yet, and you said you're going to do it swiftly. It's been over 2 weeks. So, Jada, I'm giving you 2 more weeks to sue me. If you don't sue me, this is what's going to happen. All parties, right? And the people, the men that you hit with dildos, I'm naming names, right? All the salacious stuff that you have done and hurt other people, I'm naming names. You assassinate my character. You say I extort you. Well, extortion is...
Sorry. He was, it was beyond friendship for us, as far as just, it was really difficult to explain because...
Brother Bilal is back in the spotlight again, and this time he's turning up the pressure on Jada over something that's got people talking everywhere. He's claiming she's been hiding the truth about Ali Carter, who has been insisting for years that Tupac is her real father. For the longest time, people brushed Ali off, calling her story wild and accusing her of chasing attention. But now that narrative is starting to crack. More voices are stepping in, saying this might not be as far-fetched as everyone once thought, and suddenly the conversation feels a lot more serious. Ali hasn't been quiet either, not even for a second. She's been speaking out loudly, repeating her claims again and again, refusing to back down even when people tried to discredit her. At first, it seemed like nobody wanted to take her seriously, but now that more details are surfacing, people are beginning to question whether there's more going on behind the scenes. And here's where things get even messier. There's growing speculation that Jada may have known something all along, but chose to stay silent. That silence is now raising eyebrows, especially as more people start connecting the dots. What's really catching attention is the idea that Tupac's family might also be aware of the situation, but have avoided addressing it publicly. Some believe they don't want Ali linked to Tupac's name because of the serious claims she's been making about powerful figures in the music world. That connection, if proven true, could shift how people view everything she's been saying. It's not just about identity anymore. It's about credibility, influence, and the weight of her voice if her claims gain validation. But Brother Bilal isn't letting any of this slide, not even a little. He's been going hard, calling out Jada directly and keeping the pressure on her day after day. Things have escalated so much that the situation has reportedly moved into a legal battle, with both sides throwing serious accusations back and forth. There are even claims about alleged threats, which has only made the situation feel more intense and unpredictable. This is no longer just online chatter. It's becoming something much bigger, and people are watching closely to see how it unfolds. Meanwhile, Ali continues to stay right in the center of it all, not backing down despite the criticism and skepticism she's faced. Long before her claims about Tupac started gaining traction, she was already making noise by speaking out about controversial situations and alleged behind-the-scenes behavior in the industry. That alone had people divided, but now with the Tupac connection being discussed more seriously, everything she said is being looked at in a completely different light. And that's exactly what has some people nervous, because if it turns out there's truth to her claims about being Tupac's daughter, then it could give a whole new level of attention to everything else she's been saying. Suddenly, those past statements wouldn't just be dismissed as random accusations. They'd carry a lot more weight. That possibility has people questioning why certain individuals may have stayed quiet instead of addressing things head-on. What makes this even more surprising is that Ali wasn't someone people expected to be connected to Tupac at all. When her name first started circulating with this claim, the reaction was mostly disbelief. People couldn't see the connection, and many assumed it had to be made up. But now, with more conversations happening and more speculation building, that disbelief is slowly turning into curiosity. behind closed doors, there are whispers that some people in the industry may have known more than they ever admitted publicly. According to these claims, the fear isn't just about confirming her identity, it's about what that confirmation could unlock. If Ali's story gains validation, it might push people to revisit other claims she's made, and that could open doors that some would rather keep shut. At the center of all this is a mix of unanswered questions, rising tension, and a growing audience that wants clarity. People are no longer satisfied with silence or vague responses. They want direct answers. And with brother Bilal continuing to speak out and apply pressure, this situation doesn't look like it's going to quiet down anytime soon. Right now, everything feels like it's building towards something bigger, with each new detail adding more intensity to the story. Whether this ends with confirmation, denial, or even more controversy, one thing is clear: this situation has already captured attention in a major way, and it's not fading anytime soon.
Ron Jeremy, Denzel Washington, Beyonce Knowles, Ellen DeGeneres, Whoopi Goldberg, Lady Gaga, Chrissy Teigen, John Legend, Joan Rivers, Rob Saget. Do you want me to keep going? Ask me. Everybody wonder why my smile is so deep. You get pressured, stalked, and hunted down for your own information. You get abused and re-victimized again by people who wanted to argue a back and forth this week like that fucking mattered. Okay, you had Stu Peters and Timothy Charles Homestead going back and forth, and nobody has even bothered. Not that I give a damn, and not that I understand that you guys are gonna be that selfish, but nobody has bothered to apologize for all the hell that has happened. But you guys were arguing back and forth, and in that meantime, we lost our home. You don't believe me? Here you go.
What a lot of people keep missing in this whole situation is that Ali isn't just someone sitting online sharing opinions or repeating stories she heard from somewhere else. According to her, this isn't secondhand information or rumors. It's something she says she actually lived through herself. That alone changes how people are starting to look at everything she's been saying, because it hits differently when someone claims they were right there in the middle of it all. She's made it clear that her story goes way deeper than just speaking out for attention. Ali claims that at a young age, she was taken away from her mother and placed into an environment she couldn't escape from for years. That's a heavy statement, and it's one that has made people stop and really think about what she's describing. It's not just about shocking claims, it's about a personal experience that, if true, would explain why she speaks with so much intensity and urgency. And it doesn't stop there. She's also said that during that time, she was surrounded by situations that were extremely difficult and deeply unsettling. According to her, not everyone who was in that environment managed to make it out, which adds an even darker layer to everything she's been sharing. The idea that some people didn't survive those experiences has left many. What a lot of people keep missing in this whole situation is that Ali isn't just someone sitting online sharing opinions or repeating stories she heard from somewhere else. According to her, this isn't secondhand information or rumors. It's something she says she actually lived through herself.
What once was a full house, we were still paying rent on our house. What we were doing this whole time was moving everything because our house is gone. Our house is gone. This is the price. This is the price of speaking out. What was our beautiful 3-bedroom acre home on 21225 Standing Rock Avenue, because everybody has the address, because organizations that were attached to Marx, Sawyer, and many other organizations decided to put out the address, my license plate to one of my cars, and many other of my shit. So here you go. You can have it, right? Because this is what happens when you speak out. This is what happens when you tell all the truth. This is what happens when you decided to stand up for the children, and when you understand that survivors don't just get to do a seminar, and when you understand that survivors don't just get to just be and show up somewhere and talk and monetize every fucking thing that they're saying. When you realize that that shit is bull, then you will understand. Look at the tactics and pay attention.
That alone changes how people are starting to look at everything she's been saying, because it hits differently when someone claims they were right there in the middle of it all. She's made it clear that her story goes way deeper than just speaking out for attention. Ali claims that at a young age, she was taken away from her mother and placed into an environment she couldn't escape from for years. That's a heavy statement, and it's one that has made people stop and really think about what she's describing. It's not just about shocking claims, it's about a personal experience that, if true, would explain why she speaks with so much intensity and urgency. And it doesn't stop there. She's also said that during that time, she was surrounded by situations that were extremely difficult and deeply unsettling. According to her, not everyone who was in that environment managed to make it out, which adds an even darker layer to everything she's been sharing. The idea that some people didn't survive those experiences has left many listeners shaken, especially as they try to understand the full weight of what she's claiming. For those who did make it out, including Ali herself, she says the impact didn't just disappear once it was over. She describes coming out of that time completely changed. And honestly, that part is something a lot of people can understand on a basic level. Going through intense experiences, especially at a young age, can leave a lasting effect, shaping how someone sees the world and how they move through it. It's not something you just walk away from like nothing happened. Ali has repeatedly said that she witnessed people being taken advantage of and that she experienced things herself that were far beyond what anyone should have to deal with, especially at a young age. Those claims are serious, and they've sparked a lot of debate online. Some people believe her and feel that her willingness to speak out shows strength, while others remain skeptical and question the details of her story. That divide has only made the conversation more intense. Still, one thing that stands out is how consistent she's been when telling her story. She hasn't backed away or softened her words, even when facing criticism or disbelief. Instead, she keeps pushing forward, repeating her experiences, and insisting that people listen closely to what she's saying. That level of persistence has made some people rethink their initial reactions, especially as more discussions start to surface around her claims.
Pay attention. I'm still not asking you for a damn thing but to wake up. I'm not asking you for a damn thing but just to get outside. I don't give a damn about money, numbers on my platforms. You can fucking have all of it. You took everything. The only thing that I give a shit about right now is the fact that there is a baby. There's baby in the way. There are people that I love that I can't get out of the way. What am I supposed to do when the people in the authority that you're supposed to go to, you can't go to them?
Another layer to this is how her story connects to everything else she's been speaking about publicly. For some, it raises the question, if she really did go through what she says she did, could that be the reason she's been so vocal about exposing certain situations and calling out powerful individuals? That possibility has made people look at her not just as someone making claims, but as someone who might feel a responsibility to speak on what she believes happened. At the same time, though, there are still plenty of people urging caution, reminding others that these are serious allegations and should be approached carefully. They point out that while her story is emotional and intense, it's important to separate what's been confirmed from what remains unverified. That tension between belief and skepticism is a big part of why this situation continues to grow and evolve. But no matter which side people fall on, it's hard to ignore the emotional weight behind what Ali is saying. The way she describes her experiences, the details she chooses to share, and the consistency in her message have all contributed to keeping her in the spotlight. Whether people believe her completely, question parts of her story, or are still undecided, the impact of her words is undeniable. At its core, it isn't just about controversy or headlines. It's about a person claiming to have gone through something life-changing and trying to make sense of it publicly. And when someone says they've witnessed and experienced things that no one, especially a young person, should ever have to face, it naturally leaves people thinking about the bigger picture. Because the truth is, no one comes out of experiences like that unchanged. Whether people agree with her, doubt her, or are still trying to figure out where they stand, that part of the story is something that sticks with you. It adds a deeper, more serious tone to everything else surrounding her claims, and it's one of the reasons this conversation continues to hold so much attention.
There are 3 4-year-olds that people take pride in sticking bars of children. I don't think people are going to be able to stomach the fact that people tie 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old children to horse stables and have horses and dogs with them, and then they get off on that. I don't think people are going to be able to stomach the fact that people hang children upside down in satanic ritual abuse meetings, and they literally hang them. Literally, by metal prongs, they hang them to get dripping out of them, and people go up under and like you're under a rainfall to take their blood.
And when Allie felt like nobody in authority was really listening to her or taking her claims seriously, she decided not to stay quiet anymore and took a bold step on her own. She filed an affidavit, putting everything down in writing and laying out her allegations in detail for the record. That move alone got a lot of attention because it showed she wasn't just speaking casually. She was willing to go on paper with what she was saying, and that raised the stakes in a major way. What really made people stop and look twice was the list of names she included in those claims. According to what she filed, she mentioned several high-profile figures, including Birdman, Diddy, Denzel Washington, and even Beyoncé. Seeing names like that attached to such serious allegations immediately sent shockwaves through online conversations. People couldn't believe how far-reaching her claims were, and it instantly pushed her story into an even bigger spotlight. At that point, many thought things had already reached a peak in terms of how intense and controversial her statements could get. But then, things took another unexpected turn that nobody saw coming. Allie came forward with the claim that Tupac is her father, and that completely shifted the entire conversation overnight. Suddenly, what was already a major story became something even bigger, pulling in one of the most legendary names in music history. That claim alone had people split right down the middle. Some dismissed it immediately, saying it sounded too unbelievable, while others started digging deeper, wondering if there could be something behind it. The fact that she connected such a personal claim to everything else she had already been saying made the situation feel even more complicated and layered. According to Allie, the reason Tupac's family hasn't publicly acknowledged her isn't because there's nothing to it, but because doing so would disrupt the legacy they've carefully built around him. She suggests that recognizing her would open the door to questions and conversations that they might not be prepared to deal with. That idea has sparked a lot of debate, with some people questioning whether protecting a legacy could really play a role in staying silent. She has also claimed that she has proof to support what she's saying, though those details have not been publicly confirmed. Still, the confidence she speaks with has kept people paying attention, especially those who believe there might be more going on behind the scenes than what's been shown so far. Others, however, continue to stress the importance of verified evidence before jumping to conclusions, keeping the discussion balanced but intense. And just when it seemed like the story couldn't get any more complicated, Allie added another layer that caught even more people off guard. She claimed that shortly after she was born, there was an alleged situation at the hospital involving a nurse being paid to switch her with another baby. According to her, this is the reason she and her mother ended up completely separated from Tupac and his family from the very beginning. That part of her story has raised a lot of questions and reactions. Some people find it difficult to believe, but others point out that stories involving identity confusion and hidden family connections have happened before, even if they are rare. Either way, it added a dramatic twist that made the entire situation even harder to ignore. If her claims were ever proven true, it would completely change how people understand not only her story, but also a part of Tupac's personal history. That possibility is exactly why the topic continues to gain attention, with more people discussing it and trying to piece together what might be fact and what might not be confirmed. At the same time, the seriousness of these allegations has led many to approach the situation carefully. People are aware that claims involving well-known figures and major events need to be handled responsibly, and there's an ongoing conversation about separating speculation from verified information. That tension between curiosity and caution is part of what keeps this story so active. Through all of this, Allie has continued to stand firm in what she's been saying. She hasn't stepped back from her claims, even as the attention around her has grown and the reactions have become more intense. Whether people believe her, question her, or remain undecided, her persistence has kept her right at the center of the discussion. Right now, everything surrounding her story feels like it's still unfolding, with new reactions, opinions, and conversations happening every day. The mix of serious allegations, high-profile names, and deeply personal claims has created a situation that people can't seem to look away from. No matter where the truth ultimately lands, one thing is clear: this story has already made a major impact, and it continues to raise questions that people want answers to.
I won't be able to hide from the public if I do. Okay. Anybody that was in my biological family as surrogates, they know damn well what I'm talking about. All of y'all know what I'm talking about. And if something happens to this woman right here, that's the only person that I will ever consider. She is my mother. I know nothing else. So somebody touch my mama, it won't be a Sandra Bland situation. You guys will be seeing us on t-shirts. And I'm down with that because we know where we're going. But if insurance releases insurance, you release everything. And I mean everything. If a song comes on of cleaning out my closet, everybody knows what that means. So I want to tell you now, I know a lot of shit that I should not know. I haven't even got to the facilities. I haven't even got to things where things are buried. Why do I know cases that were in San Bernardino in 2005 when I was I know a lot of shit I haven't put off yet because every time I do, you guys see what kind of hell that we get. So like I said, Tupac, you know what I'm talking about, and you won't even be able to hide from your own family. Try me.
I tried to go back to the hospital, St. Bernardines, California. I tried to go back and get some type of history.
Now, looking at all of this, it's only fair to say that not everything being claimed has been confirmed, and there's still a lot of uncertainty around the entire situation. But at the same time, people can't ignore the fact that Hollywood has seen its share of unexpected truths come out over the years. Things that once sounded unbelievable have at times turned out to have some level of truth behind them, and that's exactly why conversations like this don't just fade away. If there's one person people keep pointing to as someone who might actually have insight into all of this, it's Jada Pinkett Smith. Her name keeps coming up again and again, and that's not by accident. As most people already know, Jada and Tupac had a very close and well-documented connection. Even though Jada has always maintained that they were never romantically involved, she's also made it clear that what they shared was deep, intense, and meaningful in its own way. That relationship has always stood out to people, especially because of how openly Jada continues to talk about Tupac, even years after his passing. She frequently speaks about him with a level of emotion and admiration that catches attention every single time. In fact, some observers have even pointed out that she seems to publicly express that connection more often than she does when talking about her own husband, Will Smith. That contrast has sparked a lot of discussion online, with people trying to understand the depth of what she and Tupac really had. Their story goes all the way back to their younger years, when they first met as students during a theater department assembly. From that moment, there was an instant connection between them that seemed to stick no matter where life took them. People often describe their bond as something rare, the kind of connection that doesn't just fade with time or distance. And once that foundation was set, everything else seemed to grow from there, shaping a relationship that stayed strong in its own unique way. Over the years, Jada has shared her perspective on that connection in a way that feels almost larger than life. At one point, she even described it in deeply spiritual terms, saying, "If there is such a thing as past lives, I definitely think that Pac and I have traveled a few times together. It just wasn't possible. It was like God made us that way. It was like, look, I'm gonna put y'all together, right? Y'all are going to be a dynamic duo, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to make it so y'all are not going to be able to get together, because that just wasn't the purpose." That statement alone has stuck with people because it paints a picture of a connection that goes beyond a typical friendship. Hearing words like that has only added more layers to how people interpret her role in conversations like this. Some believe that if there were any hidden truths or unanswered questions connected to Tupac's personal life, Jada might be one of the few people who could shed light on them. Others, however, argue that even a close connection doesn't necessarily mean she would know or be responsible for addressing every claim that surfaces years later. Still, her name keeps coming up, especially as speculation continues to grow around Ali's claims. People are asking whether Jada might know more than she's ever shared publicly, or if she's simply being pulled into a situation that has nothing to do with her directly. That uncertainty has only fueled more curiosity, with every mention of her adding another layer to the ongoing discussion. At the same time, it's important to recognize that public figures often become part of narratives simply because of their past relationships and visibility. Jada's connection to Tupac is well known, and because of that, people naturally look to her when questions about his life come up. But that doesn't automatically mean she has all the answers, and that's something many are reminding others to keep in mind as the conversation continues. What makes this situation even more intense is the emotional weight tied to Tupac's legacy. He's not just another artist, he's someone whose life and story have been analyzed, discussed, and remembered in countless ways. Any new claim connected to his name is bound to draw attention, and when that claim intersects with people who were close to him, the reactions become even stronger. Right now, Jada sits at the center of a lot of these conversations, whether she chooses to engage with them or not. Her past with Tupac, her public reflections on their bond, and her continued presence in the spotlight all contribute to why people keep looking in her direction. As everything continues to unfold, one thing is clear: questions aren't going away anytime soon. Whether answers eventually come out or the speculation continues to build, the connection between Jada and Tupac will always keep her name part of the conversation.
Funny looking. Definitely, from looking at him, wasn't necessarily like the type of cat that I would even deal with, But as soon as he approached me, he was like a magnet. It was like once you paid attention to him, he kind of sucked you in. And we hit it off from that moment on. He would tell me all the time, Jada, you're going to be a star. You know what I mean? I'm like, Pac, come on. He's like, you're going to be a star. You got it. You just got it. I don't think either one of us really thought that we would have made it in the way that we did. But we knew we were going to do something. He was one of my best friends. He was like a brother.
Tupac really sat down and wrote a full poem about Jada, and it wasn't just sweet. It hit on a whole different level that still has people talking today. This wasn't some quick little note or basic lines. This was deep, thoughtful, and full of real emotion that clearly meant something to him. The way he expressed himself felt raw and genuine, like he wasn't holding anything back at all. It's honestly hard to believe they never officially dated, because everything about their connection gave more than just friendship vibes. The way they spoke about each other carried weight, like there was something unspoken but very real between them. It makes you wonder what really went on behind closed doors, because that kind of bond doesn't just appear out of nowhere. Their story feels layered, emotional, and a little complicated, like something that almost turned into more but never fully crossed that line. When you really listen to how he spoke about her and how she spoke about him, it doesn't sound normal. It sounds intense and filled with meaning that goes way deeper than surface-level feelings. He said, "You are the omega of my heart, the foundation of my conception of love." And that line alone shows just how serious he was about her. That's not something you say unless you truly feel it deep inside. He wasn't just giving her a compliment, he was placing her at the center of how he understood love itself. That kind of statement carries emotion, respect, and admiration all wrapped into one powerful message that stands out even today. It shows that in his eyes, she wasn't just important, she was essential to how he understood connection, loyalty, and what love was supposed to look like in his life. He didn't stop there either, because he went even deeper when he said, "When I think of what a Black woman should be, it's you that I first think of." And that speaks volumes about the respect he had for her as a person. That wasn't just admiration, that was him holding her up as the standard in his mind, like she represented something bigger than just herself. Then he followed it with, "You will never fully understand how deeply my heart feels for you," which makes it clear that what he felt couldn't even be fully explained with words. You can feel the emotion behind that, like he was trying to express something so strong that language wasn't enough. It paints a picture of a bond that wasn't simple or easy to define, something layered with meaning, history, and real connection that stuck with both of them over time. He even opened up about his fears, saying, "I worry that we'll grow apart and I'll end up losing you." And that line hits hard because it shows he understood how rare their connection was and didn't want to lose it. He knew what they had wasn't ordinary, and that kind of awareness makes it even more emotional. And when he said, "You bring me to climax without sex, and you do it all with regal grace," he was talking about emotional intensity and how deeply she affected him mentally and spiritually, not anything physical. That kind of statement shows how powerful her presence was in his life and how much she moved him without even trying. Then calling her "my heart in human form" takes it even further, showing she wasn't just someone he cared about, she represented something much bigger, almost like a part of himself he saw in another person. That's the kind of bond people don't forget, no matter how much time passes or how life changes. He made it clear when he said, "She was a friend I could never replace." And that line sticks because it shows how permanent she was in his life, no matter what happened between them or how things changed over time. But their story didn't stay perfect, and that's where things start to shift in a real way. When he passed, they weren't even on speaking terms, which adds a heavy layer of emotion to everything, because there was no chance to fix what had broken between them. That kind of unfinished situation can stay with someone forever, especially when the bond was that deep to begin with. After he got out of jail, people noticed a big shift in him. His mindset, his image, his whole energy started changing as he leaned into a tougher persona and a different lifestyle. Jada wasn't connecting with that version of him at all, and it created distance between them that kept growing over time. She wasn't willing to accept that change, and he was moving in a direction she didn't agree with, which made things even more complicated. That moment became a turning point, where two people who once felt so close started moving in completely different directions, and unfortunately, they never got the chance to fully come back together and fix things before it was too late.
Do you have a tissue? Thanks. You give nice hugs.
Anyway, things start getting even messier because Ali Carter and Will Smith's former assistant's brother, Bilal, are now stepping into the spotlight again and putting serious attention on Jada, claiming she allegedly kept certain truths hidden. This isn't just some random moment either. This feels like part of a bigger pattern that's been building over time. Bilal has been speaking out for a while now, and it's clear he's not trying to stay quiet or back down anytime soon. The way he's coming at the situation feels direct, bold, and honestly pretty relentless, like he's determined to keep this conversation alive no matter what. It's not just one statement, it's multiple claims stacking on top of each other, and that's what's making people stop and really pay attention. At this point, it's obvious there's no good energy between Jada and Bilal at all. If anything, it feels like there's real tension there, because he keeps circling back and bringing her name up again every time things start to calm down. That kind of repeated focus doesn't go unnoticed, and it makes people wonder what's really behind all of this. You can tell this isn't something that just started recently. This feels like something that's been building quietly for a long time and is now coming out in a very public way. The way he speaks on it makes it seem like he truly believes there are things being hidden from the public, and that belief is what keeps pushing him to speak louder each time. Whether people agree with him or not, the consistency in his claims is what keeps the situation from fading away. And this isn't even the first time he's made bold or controversial statements either. Bilal was the same person who previously came out with claims that immediately shocked people, saying Will was getting bent over by Dwayne Martin, which caused a huge wave of reactions across social media. That statement alone had people debating nonstop, with some brushing it off and others trying to dig deeper into what he was saying. Once something like that gets said publicly, it spreads fast and doesn't just disappear. It sticks around and keeps getting brought back up again in different conversations. That's the power of public claims, especially when they involve well-known figures that people already watch closely. He didn't stop there either, because he also allegedly claimed that Will was involved with Bryce Sheargray, adding even more layers and confusion to the entire situation. Now, whether any of these claims are actually true is something that hasn't been confirmed, but that hasn't stopped people from talking about it. When one person keeps making multiple statements like this, it creates a narrative that some people start connecting, even without solid proof. That's how quickly things can spiral, especially in a world where information spreads fast and people form opinions just as quickly. The more it gets repeated, the more attention it pulls in, and the harder it becomes to separate fact from speculation. What really makes all of this even more intense is the timing of everything. These claims are gaining traction at a moment when Jada is already under a lot of public attention, which only adds more pressure to the situation. It's like everything is happening at once, with past stories resurfacing while new ones are being added into the mix. That combination makes it even harder for people to figure out what's real and what's just noise. And when emotions, history, and public curiosity all collide like this, things can get messy very quickly. That's exactly what seems to be happening here, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. There's also something about the way these situations play out publicly that keeps people hooked. Every time a new claim or statement comes out, it pulls more people into the conversation, even if they weren't paying attention before. It becomes less about one moment and more about a growing storyline that keeps evolving over time. That's why situations like this don't just fade away quietly. They keep building with every new detail, every new reaction, and every new perspective added into the mix. It turns into something bigger than the individuals involved, becoming a topic that people keep revisiting again and again. At the end of the day, this whole situation feels like a mix of personal history, public claims, and ongoing tension that refuses to stay in the past. Bilal clearly isn't backing off, and Jada's name keeps getting pulled right back into the spotlight whether she responds or not. That alone keeps the conversation going, because silence can sometimes make people even more curious. It leaves everyone watching from the outside trying to piece things together, but without clear answers, it just creates more questions and more speculation. One thing is clear though, when stories like this keep resurfacing and evolving, they don't just disappear. They grow louder, more intense, and harder to ignore every single time.
Open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having anal Will.
Let me process that for a second.
There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up, killing him. Murder. There was murder in there.
Okay. What did you do?
Mac is not going to be able to be there because him and Charlie had something else going on. I arrived in Chicago for Empire. It's a damn mess. It's no other way to put it. This dude is going crazy, right? He's out there allegedly with male prostitutes. He's pissing in the trailer. He's acting psychotic, right?
The same thing he's doing now.
Beyond that. But this is why a show is going on. I pulled him to the side. I said, listen, I'm here to help you and so forth and so on. So he was like, all right, I feel that. He said, everybody on the set know you. Everybody seem like they love you. Okay. I want to love you because everybody else love you. I said, if that's what you want to do, then do it. But he kept acting up. And then one day I said, what the F is wrong with you? And he was like, you know. He said, you know Will raped me. You know Diddy made me suck his penis. You know what's going on. You know Charlie made me suck. And I said, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. So he crying, no blood is coming from his nose. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I'm like, yo.
It was actually after he made those allegations that things reportedly took a serious turn, with claims that Jada allegedly threatened his life. And Bilal didn't stay quiet about it at all. Instead of backing down, he pushed things even further by filing a lawsuit, which instantly made the situation feel way more intense and real. According to the $3 million lawsuit he filed, Bilal claims that Jada reacted strongly after he made multiple appearances on Tasha K's platform, where he was openly talking about Will's alleged relationship with Dwayne Martin and other claims tied to his personal life. That's when everything supposedly escalated and the situation stopped being just talk and turned into something much bigger. Bilal says this wasn't just online drama or behind-the-scenes tension, but something that allegedly happened face-to-face. He claims Jada tracked him down in the lobby of the Regency Calabasas Commons back in September 2021, and that's where things got heated. According to his version of events, she confronted him directly and warned him about continuing to speak on her personal life. He alleges that she told him if he didn't stop, things could end badly for him, which immediately made the situation sound serious and alarming. These are strong claims, and they definitely caught people's attention once they started circulating. And according to Bilal, it didn't stop with just that one moment either. He claims the situation continued to escalate right there on the spot, especially after he allegedly refused to sign an NDA. That's when he says things became even more intense, with claims that she followed him out toward his car while continuing to issue verbal warnings. If his version of events is accurate, then this wasn't just a quick confrontation. It was something that carried on and left a lasting impression. Situations like that, if true, can quickly shift from disagreement into something much more serious, and that's why people started paying even closer attention to the story. Now, whether or not these claims are true is still unclear, and there hasn't been confirmed proof backing everything being said, but that hasn't stopped the conversation from spreading fast. Once details like this hit the public, people start forming opinions immediately, and the story takes on a life of its own. What makes it even more complicated is how many different layers are involved, from personal relationships to public accusations, all mixing together at once. That's what keeps people watching closely, because every new detail seems to raise even more questions instead of giving clear answers. At the same time, there's another part of the story that has people talking just as much, and that's the question about Allie and whether there's any truth to the idea that she could be Tupac's daughter. It's not something that's been confirmed, but the speculation alone has been enough to spark a lot of reactions online. Some people believe there could be more to the story, while others think it's just another rumor being blown out of proportion. Still, the fact that Jada's name keeps getting connected to it makes everything feel even more complicated and layered. Of course, once all of this started circulating, people online wasted no time sharing their opinions, and some of those reactions were intense. One person said, "I never doubted her. She spoke with too much passion. Pac escaped them, so they took his kid. Makes sense to me," showing just how far some theories are going. Another person added, "I feel Diddy already knew who Allie's father was. This is why he kidnapped her after her father was unalived as a torture for his hatred of Tupac and jealousy. He will never make up to Tupac's level unalived or whether he was still amongst us. His family didn't acknowledge her to keep her safe, I believe, and her mother," which adds even more speculation into an already complicated situation. These reactions show how quickly stories like this can grow and evolve once the public gets involved. At the end of the day, this whole situation is filled with claims, speculation, and a lot of unanswered questions that people are still trying to figure out. Between Bilal's allegations, the lawsuit, and the ongoing rumors about Allie, there's a lot happening all at once, and it's not easy to separate what's real from what's just being said. Jada's name continues to stay at the center of it all, which keeps the spotlight on her whether she responds or not. It leaves people watching closely, trying to connect the dots and make sense of everything being said, but until there's clear confirmation on any of these claims, it all remains part of an ongoing conversation that just keeps getting bigger and more intense every time it's brought up again.